What's going on, everybody? This is Architect 7, and this is the Friday Night Live show for June 5th, 2020. I got with me today Diva Views.
Welcome. Glad to have you here. Thank you, Architect 7. Who else you got with us?
We got Dialect 718.
What's up?
My man David Simonisms.
Peace.
And my man Don Winemac.
What's up? Hiphopcitizen Livestream. Architect 7. You are the man. What's up?
What's going on, everybody?
How's everybody feeling? It's Friday.
Chilling.
Woo.
Man.
We made it to another week.
We made it.
Man. Long week.
Man, a very long week, man. Did you burn any marshmallows this time? This week?
What you be saying, son?
Well, I know what.
Hey, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
There was definitely plenty of flames around the world.
Hey, I'm just saying, it was a good time to toast some marshmallows if you were in the mood for watching some entertainment and marshmallows. I know everyone's
wow.
Wasn't nothing entertaining about none of this shit that's going on, everybody.
All right, yeah, you're right. No, all jokes aside, man, it's been a serious week for all of us, I'm sure.
No doubt, man. For me, my emotions been up and down about this whole thing. But what I've been taking away from it is I think something like this has been needed for a long time, man. I think the awakening is upon us.
Dude, that sounds so scary.
It's only scary if you ain't got your shit together.
Man, that sounds scary. The awakening is upon us, coming out soon. Right.
The awakening's upon us. It is what it is, man.
Mm-hmm.
So what we got? We're gonna hit the agenda.
David Simon,
what's going on? Tonight's guest, everybody. We got the Bash Brothers, who we now have in every Tuesday night show from 8 to 9. That's DJ Rags and DJ Scruff.
Okay.
So we'll get into a little bit of chat with them.
Man.
Of course, we got our birthdays and the anniversaries, and then we're gonna go into the news and gossip piece of the show. So,
which is always fun.
Architect,
always fun.
Let me tell you something, Architect. I'm looking forward to that Bash Brothers interviews. You know what I'm saying? That Bash Brothers DJ mix, that was fire. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, make sure you go look at it. It's on the replay. You can catch it on both YouTube and Hiphopcitizen. And you know what, Architect? This is also a good opportunity to remind everyone, don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Hit the like page button on Facebook. And you know what I'm saying?
Without a doubt.
I didn't want to get in the way of the show, man.
Hey, look, man, those guys are accomplished DJs. These guys bring a wealth of experience to the table, and I'm glad to have them on the team, man. So,
yeah, that's coming up. Make sure y'all stay tuned for that. Bash Brothers coming up.
We broadcasting live on Facebook?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't see it.
Yeah, I only see YouTube.
Yeah.
But you know what, YouTube, we're happy to have you. Hopefully, tuning in, hitting the like button, subscribe, notification bell, and sharing the link when you enjoy the show.
Yeah. Wow.
So we ain't going on Facebook, huh?
No, we should. It says we are. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Let me see, man. Let me. Anyway, so we got the anniversaries and all that good stuff going on.
Yeah, let me jump right into that. Juan, you want to hit the first one?
Yes, sir. Let me just make sure that we on the right one.
I don't see it.
Yeah, we're not on Facebook, man.
All right, hold on here. So, if we're not on Facebook, then we're on somebody's Facebook. If you're on Facebook, give us a shout out. Let me see something here.
Wow.
Hey.
Eating too much marshmallows, man.
Yeah. All that sugar, that's what it'll do. All that sugar, that's what it does to you.
You know, speaking of marshmallows, my next door neighbor almost burnt down the house yesterday. And I say that to you because, I'm just trying to buy some time here while I pull out my electrical. But the house almost did burn down, and it was semi what almost kind of like tragic. But let me pull this up for you. Go ahead, Dialect.
All right, so the first album we got Naughty by Nature's fourth album, Poverty's Paradise, was released this week, 25 years ago, 1995.
Damn.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is the album that had my Dirt All By My Lonely on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to Naughty by Nature.
Yep, shout out to Tretch's Pecs.
Oh, see, there we go.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, he had a jail body. Why not appreciate it?
Yeah.
She said a jail body.
Next album that was released 21 years ago.
Monster.
Yeah, it was Ja Rule's first album, Veni Vidi Vici, released in 1999.
What was the name of the album?
I Came, I Saw, and I Conquered?
Yeah, Came, I Saw, and I Conquered. Yeah.
Veni Vidi Vici.
Yeah, I thought it was a dope album. What he had on this? Murder. Hollow was on his joint.
The DMX and Jay-Z joint?
Which one's that? Murder Inc.
I believe so.
Yeah. I thought it was a dope album, man, because Irv Gotti, to be honest with you, back then was a dope producer.
Yeah, they were having a moment back then. It was part of the golden age, or it was coming towards the end.
Yeah, it was the beginning of an era. He held it down for like a good 4 or 5 years until 50 Cent came out.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I remember him back in the day when he was with Cash Money Click. You guys remember that? The original Cash Money Click?
Yeah, shout out to Mike Geronimo.
Yeah, down with Mike Geronimo. Forgot the other two cats in this group. They had Get the Fortune and
Why are we live?
On My Click.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
That's right, for my click.
Yeah.
Queens.
Well, speaking of Queens, let me jump into this next group. Released their debut album 24 years ago. Don Juan, you got this?
It was two kids who burnt the mattress down, right? You know what I'm saying? So
Okay, so
why didn't you throw some blueberry punch in it? Why didn't you throw some blueberry punch in it to take out the flames?
I think I might have to try that actually. So let me just dig deeper in here. Let me make sure I can try to do this. But I do think that was a classic one there here, and this is even a better classic right here, Dialect.
Yeah. Word. Can you bring that up again? Yeah. Lost Boys released their debut album 24 years ago, Legal Drug Money.
24 years. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think the first single was Lifestyles of the Rich and Shameless.
Yeah.
Some die with the name, some die nameless.
Yeah. Kids be fucking like they ill. Like what's the caption got up? They know what's cool.
That was a different track. That was what was that? Lex Coop the Beamers in the Benz.
Yeah. Get her a grip. Get a grip.
Yeah, Lex Coop the Beamers in the Benz. I remember that one.
You know what's funny? Like all the tracks they had that was hot had Freaky Tie on it, but then they dropped Renee. They didn't have any.
Oh my God, Renee.
That was a dope song too.
Who's the first? Who's the worst in this here rap game? For those that claim to be the best, I tear them out the frame.
Yo, R.I.P. Freaky Tie, man. One of the dopest hype men in hip hop, man.
Yeah. No doubt.
I mean, he didn't rap, but he definitely did a good job with the ad libs.
Yeah, kids be fronting like they ill.
Yeah.
I believe they came up with the term cop killer queens.
Killer Queens?
Cop killer queens.
What else y'all know about Cop Killer Queens?
But that's from the song, the original debut song.
So
Queens is a kid named Jack.
I just got I'm getting blown up with text saying that they can't see us on Facebook.
Yeah, it just went live.
It's all right.
No, it's live on Facebook now.
Yeah, now it is.
Yeah, and
hey, to all of our viewers from Facebook land, we apologize. We had some technical difficulties. Thank you for joining in. We are here now. I'm sorry, Dialect, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just figured I'd give them that announcement.
No problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And also, go ahead, Don.
No, I just say welcome on Facebook. There they are. You know, sorry that we left you. We must have been somewhere else. But they're there. I can see them now. They're flowing in. Woo. Thought it was something I said or something I ate. But sorry, Dialect.
Yeah, and I was gonna say Lost Boys were like the first group I think to cannabis rap with them was Beats from the East, but I think that was the second album.
Hey yo, how many albums didn't they drop like 3 albums like in a short amount of time? Was it?
Yeah, I think they did. They dropped
right?
like 3 joints. I think Love,
Yeah,
Peace,
and it
and
was like
Happiness was a joint.
yeah, and it was really like it was a quick turnaround. And then what was it? Freaky Ty died, right?
He died, I think, in '99, and then Mr. Cheeks had a small comeback with Lights, Camera, Action.
Right.
Yeah.
What
then
they
he
doing,
also
Nathaniel?
And then his last claim to fame was the battle with Keith Murray that scored the lowest amount of views in online battle history.
Oh, so they did do it.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Okay.
I think David Simon was one of the 125 viewers.
No.
Damn, they was low like that.
Nice try.
It was low like that. The viewership was stupid low like that.
Yeah, but you know what it is? It didn't get promoted like it should have. And then too, the doo-wop battle, if that had came out on Versus, that would have been dope too.
Yeah.
I thought that was a dope battle.
And not only that, they changed the date. They had one confirmed date and then they changed it. That hurt them tremendously.
Yeah.
Yeah, the doo-wop joint, I loved it, but man, that joint was long.
That scored the lowest amount of views. Yeah, but
that joint was long.
Yeah, I got another album here. It's a hip hop classic. I gotta wait for Don Juan to come back. I guess I'll just talk about it. It's
go ahead, talk about it.
Boogie Down Productions' second album, By All Means Necessary. Hip hop classic.
That's my jam right there.
Came out in 1988. That's what, 32 years ago?
Yeah, I think very deeply.
Yeah, My Philosophy was on this joint. Dave, you remember My Philosophy?
Yes, very good song.
Yeah, what do you thought about?
True to this day.
Yeah, you know what KRS-One is from, right?
The Bronx, right?
The Bronx.
Nah, he grew up in Brooklyn though, in Flatbush.
Oh, that's where the group home was that he was from.
I think when he ran away from home, he winded up in the Bronx, but he was originally from Flatbush. That's why in that song that he did, "The Bridge Is Over," he had that reggae influence.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not West Indian?
I think his stepfather was. Yeah. So definitely a hip hop classic. By All Means Necessary.
No doubt.
All right, the next one is a single. The Loonies.
Oh. Yeah, this is still like, even the young heads rock that.
Yeah, this joint is, I'll be honest with you, this was like the only hit they had, I think, man.
Yeah, other than that, I don't know anything they've ever made.
Yeah, I think Yuck Mouth came out with a couple of songs. I think he was on some Down South label. I think it was Rap-A-Lot or one of those labels.
Mm-hmm.
But this was like their claim to fame was I Got 5 on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Shout out to the Loonies. Came the final album.
I Got 5 on it. I just had to say that. You know what I'm saying?
You just had to say that.
I just had to say that. You know what I'm saying? I got 5 on it.
Hey, Gary, yes, still number one. The remix was the joint that had the salsa music in the background. It killed that one.
Produced by D Nice.
Yeah,
this album right here definitely.
I didn't know that. I didn't know D Nice produced that.
Yeah, D Nice produced a lot of stuff, man. But he said back then, he was only 18 years old, so he didn't get to put his name on any of the tracks. Yeah, but he was behind a lot of the production on the second album.
That is it. That is fascinating more than it is interesting. Good stuff.
Yeah. So this album right here, hip hop classic, Wu-Tang's second album, Wu-Tang Forever. I mean, one of the dopest hip hop double albums that ever came out.
Wu-Tang for the children beat. Yo, that joint's hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean this one.
Juan just popping about the blue.
Just like random out of left field.
Hey man,
Saying some,
I'm running in and out of the electrical room. You know what I'm saying? Electrical thing. Yeah, you know what I mean?
saying his neighbor burnt his mattress and shit. You know,
All right, he's covered in like Ethernet cables, trying to find the right plug.
Hey,
What's up, Nashana?
Yo, Dave, what's your favorite song of this album, man? Other than Triumph?
That's a good question. We got Wu-Tang motherfuckers. Wu-Tang motherfuckers. I don't remember the name of this song.
Hey man, yo, we are
also-
going with American Idol, ladies and gentlemen. You know, so we got some singing talent here.
Yo, I think this album was when I
Also-
actually go ahead.
The one that where they're like in a bedrock in the video.
Nah, you talking about the third album. You talking about Gravity Pit.
Yeah,
Gravity Pit. That's the third album?
Yeah, that's the third album.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This album right here is when I think Ghostface really like showed up on the album. This is when we were introduced to the Ghostface style that we know today. Cause he killed
it's
it.
yours, bruh.
Yeah, It's Yours,
right.
The Impossible, Scary Hours. That was some dope tracks.
It was a double album.
It was a double album, yeah.
Double album. So there's a lot of tracks on it.
I know I'll get land based for this, but honestly, I didn't put too much time into this album. I think I was over on the DITC train real hardcore at that time.
What?
Diamond D was heavy in my rotation.
Okay. So you was listening to like Day One. What's the joint that Big L did with Fat Joe?
Yeah, and I'm thinking I think this might have been around the time the hiatus dropped.
Oh, my favorite track. Reunited. I think that's the one I was saying, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yes.
Yeah, for birthdays, we only got 3 birthdays today. Let me try to pull that up real quick.
Yo, it's your birthday. It's your birthday. Woo.
Chill out, Juan.
Juan,
Hey, man, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we have a transition music. You know
Juan is on it tonight.
He's dipped into the punch in the green room a little too much.
Yeah,
That's right.
Something.
It's funny you say that, Diva, because I just want to remind everybody, you too can have some punch in the green room. The link will be out there pretty soon where you too can call in and participate in the live interactive live stream. You can call in. A link will be available very soon. Stay tuned.
All right, so the first hip hop birthday we got, this rapper right here turns 50 today. Meaning not today, but this week.
Ooh.
Be Real, Cypress Hill.
Cypress
Yes,
Hill.
sir. Man, let me tell you that I will have to say that was the best concert experience I've ever had in my life. They were at George Washington University in DC, and me and my homeboy Wizzo went up, and we happened to be, of course, we was way up top, and we got handed it was kind of a peace offering going back and forth across the seated row that we was in, and when the show ended, it took a while to get out of the seat. I'll just say that.
Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to Scruff and Rags, Bash Brothers in the green room.
Yeah. Next birthday, hip hop legend, Daryl DMC McDaniels, one half of Run DMC, turned 56 this week.
56.
Wow.
Not bad at all.
Mm-hmm.
He made it.
Yeah, 56 years old.
When you say black don't crack.
Does hip hop have a pension plan? This man is going to make it.
Well, apparently, your boy Swiss trying to make that happen. So we'll see.
Dude, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're waiting on his.
It didn't seem too long ago where, you know what I'm saying, if you was deemed a great MC, that means you was about to die.
Lord.
Or died.
Don't put
Or
that on
died.
nobody.
Or you already died, right?
Yeah, the last birthday.
I think Rakim would disagree with you guys on that one right there.
On what?
Rakim, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Don Juan, hit that last birthday real quick.
Last birthday, yeah. Shout out to 5'7", man. So Rakim. Rakim's daughter is a friend of ours.
Yeah, Big L, the late great Big L.
Man.
Would have been 46 this week.
Oh wow.
46.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Amazing, man.
Yeah, man. Died at like 24 years old, man.
See,
Can you imagine? Can you imagine how that would have developed, man? Because
yeah, man.
I mean, you listen to what he was spitting back then, I mean, even now to this point, there's not many that can hold weight against that.
Yeah, man, he fathered a lot of kid styles too.
Well, let's give an honorable shout out on birthdays for Sir Jinx, June 4th. Devin the Dude on June 4th.
Yep, Devin the Dude.
We got DJ Mustard on June 5th. I don't know if you guys are gonna shout. Dave East. June 3rd. And that's about it for honorable shout outs.
Word. Yeah, so that's it for hip hop birthdays. And shout out to Grace Martin in the chat room. She celebrated a birthday this week.
Happy birthday, Grace.
Happy born day.
Happy birthday.
I hope you're proud of me and lessening my cursing over the microphone as the weeks have progressed.
And as they say, many more.
Yeah. We also want to do a shout out to Breonna Taylor. She would have been 27. Justice for Breonna.
Yeah, no doubt.
Let's not forget Breonna. God bless us all.
Peace be born.
So we got somebody in the green room dying to get out of there. The punch is getting watery.
Well, hold up. It's not just anyone in the green room. You know what I'm saying?
We got in the green room. We got
not just anyone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, let's be real.
Well,
here.
Do a proper introduction then.
Well, a proper introduction is a must, and a must is what we do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. How do we do this, architect? How do we start off? How can I start off, man? You know what I'm saying? First of all, let me just say this. I want to welcome everyone, all of you out there, all around the world. I want to welcome everyone. Give everyone a warm welcome to the Bash Brothers, right? The Bash Brothers DJ Mix Show premiering every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central Time. I'm sorry, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Hiphopcitizen, YouTube, and we are going to be on Twitch too pretty soon here. So get ready for that. But architect, go ahead and give them a proper introduction.
All right. So these gentlemen are some well-accomplished DJs. First, with the Bash Brothers, we have DJ Rags, who comes from by way of Sacramento to the DC area, and he's pretty much a DC staple, a well-accomplished battle DJ, former member of the Jazz Addicts, currently working with DJ Unknown on plenty of food projects. And his counterpart, I don't know who's Jose Canseco and who's Mark McGuire. That's for them to figure out. But his counterpart, DJ Scruff, is also a well-accomplished DJ who tears up the Richmond area, well-known, and is really making his mark as far as doing a lot of cuts for artists on their projects here as of late, as we witnessed on the first Bash Brothers show. Welcome, fellas.
Good to be here.
How you doing, Scruff? Can we hear Scruff?
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
he looks interesting. He looks interesting.
What up, man? How you doing?
What's going on,
y'all
bro?
got the trippy background, like EDM festival stuff going on in the background for a couple of hip hop DJs. Like, are we about to Calvin Harris coming up next? Like,
every day.
First of all, man, I want to let you guys know, man, it's good to have you guys. It's good to have you guys as part of the team, man. It's good to have you guys as part of the team, and we look forward to making this thing work. What's going on, Don Juan?
Oh, nothing much. I just wanted to echo that. Saying what a welcome, what a great addition to have to the team, the Bash Brothers.
Hey, check it out. I mean, I'm incredibly happy to be a part of what's going on right now. It's cool that, like, me and Scruff, we just like to goof around. So what we decided to do was just go live and just have conversations, mix records, have fun, expose some other music that's not currently being played on a lot of streaming forums right now, kind of flying under the radar, showing other artists love, and then just chopping it up back and forth, cutting and scratching, just what we love to do, what we're passionate about. So we just decided to do it, and we're having a good time. So we're happy to be here.
if you don't, if
No
you
doubt.
don't mind, I just want to ask you, Bash Brothers, DJ Rags, DJ Scruff, you guys are well-known DJs in your own right. How do we get Bash Brothers out of that? That sounds well, let me let you explain.
It all just started because I thought of like a duo, right? So I do this thing where I'll impose our heads on other characters or famous celebrities or pro wrestlers or figure skaters, whatever it is, just to kind of clown around. And I was thinking, I want a duo, but I don't want it to be like just some amazing duo you think of, but also the Bash Brothers. They were both guys that had fantastic baseball careers, and then they got into roids. It just was an interesting story, so I thought we'll just impose our faces on there just to kind of clown around. And then we were looking for a name, and actually Architect 7, John, thought of the name. You just call yourselves the Bash Brothers.
That was a conversation we had, but I do have a question. Do you guys take steroids?
Wow.
Clearly.
Are you taking DJ enhancing drugs or supplements
Right.
at this time?
And I think
Yeah.
DJ Scruff is. Look at that strobe light. I think you got to be on something to have that light popping.
Yeah, I mean, like alcohol, like that's DJ enhancing, right?
So which one is Conseco and which one is Mark McGuire? That's my question.
We're both Jose Canseco.
Okay.
Period.
So nobody wants to own Mark McGuire?
Well,
I guess
we
not.
had a big argument about it, and we were gonna actually come to fist fighting, and then I said, why don't we just both be Jose Canseco? And then we smiled and hugged it out. That's nice.
Well, I think that Scruff is Mark McGuire. When I look at you guys,
Ooh.
Scruff is Mark McGuire and Rags is Conseco.
Wow, he decided for you.
Yeah, I just
All right.
throw that out there, you know.
All right.
Well, listen, we're actually the other thing that I have that I'm so appreciative of is when John asked us to be on the show. It's wild because me and Scruff are huge fans of John as an MC. So we've both done songs for John, and a lot of people that tune into the show don't know John can hang with the best of them. He's one of the sickest out there.
And John, when you say John, we're talking about Architect, right?
Architect 7, yes.
That's how you know it's family.
Yeah.
Architect, yeah.
So DJ Rags and DJ Scruff, for those of us, or for those of the people out there who are not familiar, how would you describe what you do?
We just play records, I guess. I don't know. Play records, maybe do a little scratching here and there, a couple of juggles.
Well, let's be real. You guys just don't do a little bit of scratching, right? It's a little bit more than that. I mean, seriously, if you're in the elevator with someone, what do you do?
So, like in a normal hangout session, what we'll do is when we hang out, it's always for the love of music and style, right? So when I go over to Scruff's house or he comes over to my house, we either like go back and forth and ask each other what we worked on. We sit down, we listen to it. And then later in the night, when we don't want to do music ourselves, we'll go on YouTube and we'll go song for song. We just like to share music with each other. And we thought with this whole virus thing going down, let's share what we like to share with each other on the underground tip by finding really rare, dope hip hop songs. Because there's a lot of people that say there's not a lot of dope underground hip hop out right now. And if you're into that, you can definitely find it, but it's still underground. You have to search for it. Like you have to go on Bandcamp, you have to go on SoundCloud and take a look at what those artists that you like are liking and dig deeper into that. So what we decided to do is just have a show where we did that and then just talk crap to each other in between. Like I play 3 songs, he'll play 3, and then he'll be like, hey, I did cuts on the song and it's better than the cuts you did for him, you know, or just whatever. We have fun with it. It's just entertaining to us. So we thought we'd just bring it to the forefront.
Are you guys, I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, Bash Brothers, is it right?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, you're a global DJ group.
Sure.
Uh,
Sure.
we're
We're super local, but yeah, we feel like we're global.
Only hip hop.
No, we play everything.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of dope producers from overseas, you know. So yeah, for sure, we definitely play some global tunes. And then we also have a guy in our crew. We do a lot of like food theme music. And here's a shameless plug: toofatmusic.com. We have like a series of food projects, and me and Scruff did one with Unknown Beats. And Unknown is Odyssey's touring DJ and does a lot of production. So we have that project out at toofatmusic.com right there. Thank you very much. No, but so me and Scruff did cuts for a project with all Unknown Beats, and it's called Tacos, and that's where it is available, right?
So you on Tuesday you play taco. You play the taco music on Tuesday here on hiphop.com.
I mean, it's funny. I listened to it today when I was in the truck. I deliver packages for Amazon in the day, so there was a little storm going on. I needed some motivation to hop in and out of the truck, so I listened to it on a Friday.
Okay, so no. I was trying to figure out is taco music also associated with the hip hop genre?
Yes. So what they've done is, Dave, it's very almost experimental. So it's turntablism with some hip hop production, and they theme it after food. And so when you look at the covers, all the cover and the themes behind each project is food related. And you may wonder how they tie that in together, and that's through the brain of Unknown. You'd have to hear it to really. It's really dope shit, to be honest with you.
Okay, fantastic. So
I mean, the way
I'm sorry.
I would describe the record as it's like turntablism with mixed with comedy. So it's almost a comedy record and a turntablism record as well. It's crazy.
Yeah, pretty much.
For someone like myself that's not familiar with the DJ tandems that's out there, who would you compare yourselves or say also you have walked in your footsteps as well?
I would say nobody. We're better than everybody. Bottom line.
I like that.
We're the best ever. So it's kind of strange because so we tiptoe a fine line. We love to do DJ competitions and compete in battles, but we also really love jazzy, mellow hip hop and scratching melodically over that. So it's kind of weird. It's a cross between like maybe a Jazzy Jeff or somebody that can compete, but also that likes to do like hip hop verse cuts, choruses, things like that. So we decided to start making projects that kind of theme what we do, but just be more about the actual putting together the hooks, but like doing it for a long period of time. And then having maybe an occasional rapper like Architect 7 who popped in on Pasta, crushed it. But yeah, it's kind of interesting because we like to dip into different genres because we even do top 40 sets at clubs, you know. We do weddings.
Okay, see that's what I mean. When you say we, that means you guys DJ together every time.
Not every time, but so like we do our individual stuff as well, but we just enjoy hanging out and working together, and it's an inspiration to work with them. So it's just a positive vibe. So most of the things I do, I try to include them. So if I can't have them part of it, yeah, I'll jump out and do it myself.
So DJ Rags, let me get this straight. There's pasta, there's wings, there's tacos. Do you cook?
So I'm getting better at it, but Unknown cooks, and he's a fantastic cook. But the whole theory was I was getting tired of scratching hooks on songs where it's like, okay, here's your little 8-bit, 8-bar part here, and then everything's formatted. So we were just thinking about making experimental, unformatted music because, I've been doing it 31 years. So when I do the same thing over and over again, I'm not showing my passion. I'm not moving forward. So a lot of these projects, like with tacos, is just an inspiration of moving forward and creating your own lane and not just tapping into whatever lane that's already built. Like, just make your own. If it goes, cool. If it doesn't, we had fun doing it, you know?
Who was
True
on your
passion.
playlist in 1989?
What's that?
Who was on your playlist in 1989?
So it's weird for me because I am originally from California. So when I first started, my first crate of records that I bought, it was just a gangster rap crate, and it had, you know, NWA, Eazy-E. But then I loved Kane. You know, I was always listening to Kane, Rakim, Dougie Fresh, riding my bike, listening to Dougie Fresh with my Walkman.
Okay, that's what's
You know?
up. And how about you, Scrubs? Oh, Scruff, I apologize.
Wow.
Who did
It's all right. You can call him the D word.
Who did
Right.
you start playing when you started DJing?
So I started in '97. Was my time DJing when I first got into college, and I was doing a radio mix show on the college radio station. So it kind of was almost the jiggy era, but also there was the the raucous records kind of came through at the same time. So
You said Jiggy, and Dave smiled from ear to
Hey.
ear.
yeah,
He was talking my language. I'm a
Yeah.
platinum man myself.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, like the early Ja Rule stuff, and Jay-Z, like the first Mace record. I mean, they all have like a little piece of my heart because I kind of came up during that time.
And what
Nice.
college was this?
What's up?
What college was this program airing?
So this was SUNY Potsdam. It's a state university of New York at Potsdam, which is northern New York. The closest city was Ottawa, which is like an hour away.
Wow.
Middle of nowhere.
Another
Yeah,
country.
it was crazy. But
Okay,
but
so you
like,
were
but like
saying
a lot of the school, a lot of the kids there were from the city, so a lot of influence from there in general.
or you're not East Coast born and bred?
Well, I grew up in Buffalo, New York, so no, that's almost Midwest at this point. Like I feel like I'm East Coast, but realistically, like that's kind of almost Midwest, you know?
Yeah, I get you. So yeah, you're one of those guys supporting the movement from Griselda.
Yeah, they're all right. Like I'm still boom bap to my heart. So if there's not drums in the record, I'm really not feeling it. And a lot of the Griselda joints don't really have drums in it. Those guys are very talented MCs, but like the beats in general, like I'm not really feeling most of them.
No. You can stop right there. We're not into it. That's it. You don't have to explain. We're just not into it.
Where?
Oh my goodness! If someone else is joined the fraternity of Griselda. Thank you, my friend. So, are you guys?
Wow.
Where are you guys located at now?
I'm in Richmond, Virginia. And Rags is DC.
Okay. How about you, sir?
I'm in Cashburn, actually. Ashburn, Cashburn.
That's a fitting name for that area.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
People
For
don't
sure.
know. They may not know about the Ashburn, Cashburn.
But you know what? That area is really steeped in hip hop culture, man. That whole 66 corridor really is really steeped in hip hop culture. I have to say that.
Well, I can tell you
How
that.
about you, DJ Rags? What are you playing right now? What are you listening to?
You know, I listen to Clear Soul Forces. They just dropped a new album that's pretty tight. I like a lot of DC artists, you know. I'm definitely partial. Like I've been working with a dude named Renell, who I just loved his music. I like YU from DC. He's real tight. I mean, there's so many good artists out there that, especially in DC, and it's funny because we were talking about it the other day. It's like DC's that one area where there's killers everywhere. As soon as you think like you know who's who, somebody else pops up. Somebody else pops up. Oh, Woodbridge. There's some dude over there doing this. Some guys over here. So it's interesting. So sorry to expand so far on that, but I try to follow the DC artists for the most part, and then because I'm always like trying to like see what they're doing, maybe work with them. You know, like I've done a lot of work with a lot of DC artists, and it's cool because with the age of internet, people can just send you tracks and go, oh, add your cuts here. But what I like to do is I like to have people come here. So I listen to their music because I'm like, oh, you know what? If I did cuts for this person, this is how I would do it. So I kind of just like position myself, you know, with music.
What will we hear on the Tuesday night? What would the Hip Hop Citizens audience hear on the Tuesday evening?
So it's going to be a lot of underground hip hop mixed with some instrumentals that a lot of the artists are not known or well known, or they might only have, you know, 100 views. There might be some guys that are somewhat, you know, peaking to that point to where they're about to get a deal, mixed with some beat juggling, some DJ tricks, because, you know, we've been doing it a long time. We've competed on a national level. We've produced and put out scratch records
on an international level
over the years.
Don't sleep. In fact, Scruff has been doing a lot of work from an international perspective as far as working with artists as well. So yeah, these guys, man, they're local to us, but they definitely are international in the bigger perspective. They're dealing with a lot of guys, man, and I'm super happy to have them on the platform.
So I have a question.
Sure.
Do you guys, as DJs, have any issue with DJs that are of the now? Because like we were joking before, it looked really EDM in the background, you're on the Borg ship or whatever, but a lot of DJs consider themselves, like Paris Hilton considers herself a DJ because she can get behind a digital turntable and find tracks and turn those. Exactly. So do you guys take issue with people who call themselves DJs now and are not using wax in a needle? Or do you accept them into the fold?
I mean, for me, if someone can get down, then they can get down. But if you're just playing songs, step off.
There you go.
That's it.
Yeah, for me, I think it's just it's a personal thing. So I taught at the Beat Refinery Music School, and there were just some people that would come in with the perspective of saying, I just want to be able to learn how to use my equipment better. Or I had an attorney that was one of my students, and he basically wanted to bring his DJ setup out randomly with some of his other attorney friends and just be like, oh, by the way, I DJ too, and actually do some mixes of things that he always wanted to do. Like, if that's what does it for you, like, you're dope. Like, it's just a self thing. So however you want to do it, it's fine. I don't care about equipment. I've been doing it for a long time, but I don't like be like, you can only use techniques or you can only do this or only do that. It's just about your personal journey with it. If you
what's your stance on? There seems to be a lot of people that shun the use of, I don't know, of without wax, or they shit on Serato. What is your stance on that? What do you guys feel about that? Does it have to be straight vinyl? Does it have to? I mean, does it matter?
Think about this. Think about when your dad talked to you, and you thought he was so closed-minded. He did not want to listen to anything you said because the way he sees it is the best, and that's it. I don't want to be that dude. I just don't.
You mean closed-minded?
Yeah. Why do that? Why hamper what somebody's enjoying and they're doing it and they're having a personal like thing with it, you know? It's not my say to be like, I'm so good that I say you can only use techniques. Like, it's an ego thing too. It's like machismo. Like, it's cool. Just have fun with it. Rock out. Like, I don't show up in a club and be like, oh, I challenge you to a battle right now. I'm like, it's a time and place, and you have to let people do what they want to do and enjoy doing. So if they enjoy that, then they deserve that pay. They deserve that love. But like, and like I was saying in the terms of with DJing and using certain components, if you dig it, and you're enjoying it, just roll with it. Like it's all art, you know.
Okay.
So let's just
Your
say,
interpretation of it.
so let's just say Paris Hilton walked up to you in the club and stepped to you and said she wanted to battle. Would you do it?
Sure. Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we? We all would.
Why
Because
not?
he's a smoker, that's why.
I don't even know. I don't even know what I'd do. I just stand there and just be like, I don't understand.
I don't understand what's happening right now.
Yo,
You don't want none?
hotel on this shit. Let's go. Put a hotel up. I'm on it.
What?
Well, after the night in Paris, let me ask you this. I'm a first-time student in your course, Mr. Rags. What's the first thing you teach me day one?
First thing I teach you?
Yes.
Understanding the difference between a kick and a snare, learning about tempos, learning about the equipment, learning about how to put your hands on the record. If you want to put your hands on the record, you make sure they're, at 9 o'clock, both sides, how to use the fader, what the fader is, best ways to hold it. So then in the future, when you have a problem, because you held the mixer weird when you learned and you can't switch back, I would go into that. And then basically I'd have a folder of hip hop beats, and they would be different tempos. And I would teach about beats per minute and matching up beats, because the scratching, the juggling, that's all cool. But that's like when you make a cake, that's just the icing. The mixing, the foundation all has to be strong. So just
There
the
you
very
go.
basics.
So DJ Rags, when you speak about knowing how to hold it, it kind of brings to mind about female representation in DJing. Do you think there's enough battle DJs or a lack thereof of female battle DJs?
They're starting to come out the woodworks. It's starting to get really cool. I mean, there's a big movement for that. There's Instagram pages where there's scratch girls DJs, or I can't remember the exact name of it, but I follow it, and you're seeing a lot of talented women coming out the box representing. So it's tight. I think it's changing.
I'd like to go back real quick to the course that you teach. What is the final exam?
So basically, you'd have to do a mix. You do a 4-song mix, and within there, you'd have to make sure your blends were good, that everything was on time, all the beats. And then I also teach you 5 basic scratches. Those 5 basic scratches have to be maintained in that demonstration. One of the beats that you choose out of those 4 songs has to be an instrumental, and that's where you do the scratch segment. And then I just want to see where their head's at. I want to see what they mix together in their creativity. And if I feel that they're very clean at mixing and scratching and they feel confident, then I can vouch for them and say, yeah, you know what? If you need me to talk to any club manager, if they ask me, I would say, yeah.
You're a Bash brother?
What's that?
Can I become a Bash brother?
It's just a duo. It's just a duo.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
Hey.
Jackson 5. You can come in as long as you name Jackson,
Oh my goodness.
Hey Dave, you can always be a Bash brother. We are LGBTY friendly.
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
That
I'll have to marry Scruff or Rags.
Again, a left field comment. Like,
What the hell just happened?
that's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, he's over
What the
there
hell
by
just
himself in
happened
the
there?
stands eating a hot dog, talking to a pigeon. Like, where did that come from?
Fly ball. Sorry.
The Bash brothers have tattoos. How are you identified as siblings? Is my question.
What's that?
How are you identified as siblings? Is there a tattoo? Is there a special mix cut that only the Bash brothers can do?
It's top secret. We'd have to kill you if we told you
I
how
mean,
we relate.
In there.
Look,
Oh my goodness.
No, it's
bottom line
just,
though. Yo, I'm sorry. Bottom line, we just hit it out of the park every time. That's it. That's it.
Sherry,
can do
you're not
that,
the only one
and
who's
you're a Bash
confused.
brother.
Okay. All right. Because
Right.
Ricky Henderson was actually
There you
a
go.
honorary Bash brother. I would be Ricky Henderson,
It's like Stephanie's a fan. Shout out to Stephanie.
I can't. Yeah, Stephanie's like Stephanie and
so
Sherry are lit in the chat right now. Like,
Okay. Stephanie's actually banging a Bash brother. Which one?
hey, hey,
oh,
no, do not answer that.
oh shit, here we
We got to
go.
talk to the legal
Plead the
department.
fifth.
Don't answer. Do not answer.
Wow. Wow.
And so hold on. So my question to her is, does he knock it out the park every time?
wow. Stephanie, plead the fifth. I can neither confirm nor deny that allegation. Say it, Steph.
Hey, this is an interactive.
We're waiting, Stephanie. Does
Go ahead, Steph.
he knock it out the park all the time?
Let them know where it's
I'm
at.
looking down.
She
at
opened
my
that
screen
door.
and
I'm
waiting
just
for the-
saying.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So you guys mix every Tuesday at 8 p.m. here on StreamYard.
No, on
Hiphopcitizen.
Yeah.
Well, how do you broadcast live, or is it not live?
You check it out. We'll get you the link, Dave, and you can catch up. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the hottest mix shows that I think we've seen in the last 2 weeks. And if you haven't seen it, you too can check it out here on both YouTube and Facebook. You can check out the Bash Brothers. You can follow the link below, and you see it. It's the one with thousands of views. You can't miss it.
Okay.
Yep, they're here every Tuesday.
Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m.
Yes.
Is it live?
Every time.
Oh,
You
can tell me that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's definitely.
Oh, Stephanie came through with the answer.
That's the answer, Stephanie. She says every time.
And she said it in capital letters. She said period.
Does he hit it deep in the left field?
Oh, come on. Okay, now, fellas. Let me try to get us back on track. Stephanie, see what you started.
Foul.
Yeah.
We're losing control of the audience here. So Bash Brothers, you guys specialize in cutting and scratching. Of course, we hip hop heads know what that is, but that's basically you with, like House Party, 2 turntables and 2 records, and you're just mixing it together. You're doing the, outro, the intro. You're doing the thing that nobody can describe, but they know what it is when they hear it.
Will we be hearing Architect play on Tuesday night?
Hey, do you guys?
Is that a yes? No, you're playing Architect music on Tuesday night?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Okay, that's what I'm looking forward to.
You missed it, Dave. They played it.
Hey, yo, I have another question.
Go ahead.
Please don't ask Stephanie another question.
When you guys play top 40 music, at the clubs, do you guys use the horn that goes?
No. But we don't. But we DJ shirtless. So
DJ shirtless. Okay.
Yeah. No. Negative.
What was the noise I made? You know the one where you scratch in one record, you scratch out the other.
She said, "Spin the record back." That's what she's talking about.
That's what I said.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, absolutely, definitely.
Don't be calling me out, Micah.
We need a special effects board.
On the top 40, for real, definitely rely on the echo out and the backspin for sure.
Oh, see all the technical terms we're learning here today. We're being educated.
So how do you give the time? Let's say you got a party for 4 hours. Use 2 hours each?
No, we do a party in Charlottesville at Rapture every once in a while. We do a party with the Duck Brothers. So it's however many DJs show up. So there's like 5 of us. So we'll hook up 3 DJ setups and we'll just go back and forth. So this guy might play a song. He might play 3 songs. Somebody might jump in. So we just kind of communicate, when we're going to jump in. So usually we just have multiple setups and we're mixing off of each other, feeding off each other.
The Duck Brothers.
Man, I'm here to tell you, those parties are live.
Crazy.
Those parties are live. When them 5 brothers are up there doing their thing, let me tell you, I had my birthday. What was it, last year? I was out there for my birthday. I've never seen anything like it. 5 DJs and the blending, and you got to remember now, you don't even know what the next man's gonna play. So all this stuff is straight live, not pre-planned. It's all freestyle. So this guy might play 3, The next man comes in and plays 3, and the blends are perfect. And then it just keeps, it's a continuous cycle, and it just goes all night. It's the most incredible thing, man.
That sounds like art. That's an art form right there.
It is art. There you go, Diva. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It does. I remember seeing one DJ competition where it was like a team, and they had their turntable, and they just took turns in a round robin. Like they actually walked in a circle, and each guy did a scratch, and then the next guy came, and then the next guy came, and they just kept doing it, the 3 of them.
So there is something that they do as well. I know Rags has a collective called Jars, but they sit around and each of them will take an instrument. So somebody will play a drum, or like the drums. Somebody's scratching a keyboard, and it's 5-6 people, and it's almost like having a DJ orchestra, if you can imagine that.
That sounds cool. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. We released an album at vibejars.com, and it's just us playing as like a band would. I might scratch the drums. Somebody's playing a horn and they're using the tune on the top, or some of them have special turntables where they have like different keys that you can press. Like on my turntable over here that you can't see, you can set it and you can put it in different octaves, and you can do 22 different octaves
Nice.
for any tone. So you can like create any melody basically.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, I just want to ask either one of the Bash brothers. In previous shows, we talked about the responsibility of hip hop with today's climate, and whether that be the protests, the riots, or anything of that nature. Do you think that DJs have a role to play during this tense environmental, I guess, distress? You might want to say.
Yeah. I would say there's 2 different roles. There's the push the culture, get it amped up, and there's also the calm it down, help everyone chill out and try to relax during this crazy climate. I think there's 2 definitely distinct roles that DJs can play during this time.
I know we pretty much freestyle our sets, but I put stuff in my folder, and for next week, we sat out last Tuesday for the Blackout Tuesday.
Right.
We didn't feel comfortable going. I myself wasn't in the mood to mix, so we scrapped it. But we do have some messaging in some of the songs we're going to be playing on Tuesday.
Nice.
So absolutely, it's very important what's going on right now, and people need to hear what's going on. I mean, equality is important. That's how we push forward. We could do better than this right now.
Yep. I can tell you that I was actually touched and moved by the spirit of the willingness to forgo any type of self-interest, if you will, and really to honor the moment, and by doing so with your silence. And I thought that was a very powerful statement by the Bash brothers on Hiphopcitizen.
And
I
thank you for
appreciate
that.
it. I mean, it's just what it is. It's right now. This all needs to be fixed. We need to figure out equality. It sounds like it's going to be really difficult. You know, we can just do our part and voice how we feel, and we do it through music all the time. So I definitely picked out some songs specifically for this time period. But we do also want to have fun too, because like you got to also remember, in time of war or tragedy, you have to let all your range of emotions flow. You can't just be one thing the whole time. You're gonna kill your own mental health. So
that's it.
That's right.
There's times to be
In
real,
fact,
and there's times to be lighthearted.
We had that conversation actually before the show. Myself and Dee were talking about the need to unplug, because it got to a point where the range of emotions fluctuated from anger to sadness. Like, it's a very, very fluid emotional situation, man. You know, and I'll even say, you know, being in the apartment by myself and watching some of the things that were going down, man, there were moments that I was kind of like holding back, because it's unbelievable what we're witnessing, and unbelievable from a bad standpoint, but then it's also unbelievable from a good point, because we're starting to see that it's not just one type of person that's saying enough of this bullshit.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
It needs to be repeated and repeated.
Word, like Catherine says.
Yeah.
You listen,
So guys, put
Bash
your
Brothers,
socials out
everybody.
there.
Sorry, go ahead, Diva.
I was gonna say put your socials out there so everybody knows where to find you and continue to enjoy you.
That's right. And
So for me, it's toofatmusic.com. Instagram is DJ Rags, just all one. And then djrags.com. But right now, I'm just really plugging vibejars.com, which is the turntablist band type thing I do. And then Too Fat Music, where I have the project called Tacos with DJ Scruff, my buddy whom I love very much.
Aww.
Word. Yeah. Also, same thing. Too Fat Music. Get the Tacos record. It's really dope. It's about tacos. It's pretty funny.
Damn, I'm
It's also pretty tasty.
I know he keeps bringing it up.
And at DJ Scruff on social media. That's what I go by.
And most importantly, don't forget, you can always find the Bash Brothers here starting Tuesday. Get your tacos served, 8 p.m. Central, Eastern.
8.
Yeah.
That's right.
8/7 Central.
Bash Brothers, everybody, man. Thank you, everybody.
Woo!
We don't have a sound effects machine yet, but when the budget gets bigger, guys, we will. But pretend there's a sound machine.
Applause, applause.
Bash
Yeah,
Brothers.
I don't know if that was more like Darth Vader or what, but
Yeah, spin the record back.
Bash Brothers,
all
everybody.
right, fellas, man. Thanks for coming out.
Great to hear from
And
you.
Tuesday,
Thank you
man.
for having me.
Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. The dopest shit out.
Woo!
Welcome to the family.
Absolutely.
Hey, thank you guys. We're very, very happy to be a part of it. And yeah, we're just gonna keep having fun with it. And we thank you guys for facilitating it.
Oh yeah.
All right.
No
We
doubt.
can't wait to hear more.
Hey, look,
Bash
if you
Brothers.
guys are ever, when all this shit clears up, if you guys are ever out in Richmond, Scruff does a hell of a like 90s and early 2000s mixed party that's pretty fucking incredible. So if you're ever in Richmond, make sure you check Scruff out. And if you're ever in Cashburn and you need some cuts, go knock at Rags' door. And Rags is also starting to smoke too. He's starting to do the smoker grill stuff, so he can cook you some food too
That's right.
and rub your feet.
Yes.
And rub your feet.
There's nothing
Again,
more
the
American than
randomness.
tacos.
Tacos
All right,
and
man.
foot rubs. Okay.
You sound like you're excited, Diva.
No, you're not gonna rub people's feet and then make the food. Like, no.
Hey man,
He gonna wash his hand before he touches the meat. It's all right.
Just let this go. Let this go. Y'all are taking it to a weird place.
Bash Brothers, welcome to the Hiphopcitizen family, brothers.
Thank
All
you.
right, fellas.
Thank you guys. Thank
All
you.
right. Peace.
Yeah, DJ Rags, DJ Scruffs is now the Bash Brothers. Be sure to check them out every Tuesday here at Hiphopcitizen Livestream. Bring back in our brothers Dialect and David Simonism.
All right. So what do we got going on for the second hour?
All right.
You
know what I'm saying? That's
we going into this news and gossip, right?
news and gossips. All right.
News and gossips.
So is this where we cue in the music? You know what I'm saying?
Help me help you out.
Music gossip. All right.
Damn, Diva is on it today. She got the record sound effects,
Yeah.
everything.
That's right. That's right.
Y'all gonna start coming for me in the chat.
Are they attacking you in the chat?
Just snap it on me. I see you, Micah.
Oh, we going here? Oh, this is right here.
So that's the first thing we want to discuss.
Yeah, let's start with this. Since
So
it
this
was
is the LL Cool J freestyle, right?
yeah, this was a big
It
hit
was
on the
blowing
Facebook
up
page.
this week.
Yeah.
They blew it.
Hey, so hold on. Do you know? You do know? Well, go ahead. I'll talk after.
No. How you? Not catching the sound.
There's no sound.
No sound.
Ooh. And LL is still looking fine as he has ever looked.
Until he takes that hat off.
Black don't crack.
He said take
Until
the
he
hat
takes
off.
that hat off.
So you saying we being hatfished? Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh yeah, exactly.
We're not catching the sound.
Yo, why can't I hear him?
Yeah.
I don't know, but go ahead and discuss like what it was that was the message that he was putting forth with such passion and fire.
Yo, so basically, man, the lyrics was, I mean, they were fiery, man. It was intense. He talked about the standing on top of cop cars, and he talked about the why they're rioting, almost from a perspective of the individuals in the protests and in the rioting and the reasons why.
Yeah.
It was pretty intense. I mean, look at his eyes. He looks crazy.
Dialect, we cannot hear dialect.
Look like he gonna fuck you up real quick. Look at him. Look at him.
Yeah.
That's crazy out here.
Yeah. I thought it was like, you know, it seemed like a lot of people just missed him. You know what I'm saying? It just seemed like a lot of people were just yearning. I don't know if they're yearning for the new LL music. I think we're past that stage.
No, I think it was just
man.
nice to hear from him as somebody who's been in hip hop.
Man, listen.
And
I'm gonna take you to task on that, Juan. And this is why. Because I thought the same thing. But I'm gonna tell you, LL Cool J is not to be fucked with. Do not sleep on the fact that this dude's been acting and he's been doing whatever he's been doing, building that empire. I'm trying to tell you, I will take anybody
I agree.
that is for the love of the culture and went and did what, and same thing like the Queen Latifahs and those MCs of that era. Don't fucking play, bro.
Look, I'm gonna tell you this: if it wasn't for LL, there would be no Drake.
Why you got to do it like that?
I mean, it's true. It's real talk. I mean, I need love. That's LL, man. Anything that Drake.
But listen, LL Cool J, that message. Listen, and I honestly, when I saw that, I thought of Diva, because Diva said, "Where are the artists?" And he dropped that freestyle, and it couldn't have been a better voice, in my opinion, to drop that. Number one, because LL Cool J has always been fiery, just even from the skill set and the skill perspective when he makes his music on the raw tip, when he's not doing the lady thing. So to hear him doing what he did for this cause, that was incredible to me. I mean, that verse is going to be history, man. That's history. That's hip hop history.
Well, it's because he had the skills and the foundational bars that he could go back and do the love raps and the love songs and something for the ladies, because he already established who he is and he's that dude. So then he can say, well, you know, you already know I'm that dude. Let me speak to my girls for a second. Let me.
When he spoke, when he said, I've been dealing with this shit since I was rocking my Kango. Come on, man. Come on. That's the same thing I keep. That's the same thing I keep saying, man. This same situation's been going on since I've been around from the very beginning. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of this shit has changed. And when he said that, he used the Kango reference, and of course I lost my mind. You know, Boricuas with the Kangos. You know.
Everybody went in the closet, went to the box with the stack of colored Kangos to match the J's.
Are you serious? So Catherine says people her age were saying they would have rather him talk and not rap. Fuck out of here. That's LL Cool J.
Right. Like, how else is he gonna express it? Like,
man, people forget where the fuck they come from.
My thing is that that's what people were looking for, and my whole point when we were talking on the Sunday special report more in depth, because the Sunday special report that we're starting to do as a new series Sundays at 8 p.m. Shameless plug, is that we're talking about things that are hip hop adjacent and things that are still current events, and how maybe we can still talk about it in a vein of hip hop. And I was saying, where the protest songs, but also people are looking for elder statesmen. They're looking for a familiar face to be a leader. You know, Jesse Jackson and Sharpton had their time. Now they're looking for somebody else to be on the come up, and LL steps in with this freestyle to show he's got something to say.
You can't win for losing these days, man. Everybody bitching about something, man. If it ain't the way that they thought it should be, then they got some bullshit to say. Enough is enough. The man spoke out. He spoke out in the form that he's been known to be speaking. shut the hell up.
Right. I don't know why they wanted him to just sit in a desk at a desk in a room and say this. Would it have been as impactful?
Right. He's speaking his language. Damn it. Let the man speak his language. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing too. Is we sit here and we gripe about all the equality and this, that, and the third, but then amongst ourselves, we can't get the shit right. We always got something to say.
That's a given. Crabs in a barrel.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, when's enough's enough? Like, if just
When is
because
it good
ain't
enough?
your way, it ain't the right way, fuck out of here with that. Sorry, I'm getting
Well, that's
emotional,
what's
but
been that's what's been going on with, the everybody stepping into the fray, everybody who's well known, celebrities, influencers, whoever. Nobody knows what the right way is, yet everything is the wrong way. But nobody can tell you what the right way to do it is. And it's the same with protests. It's the same with the messaging. Nobody knows the right way, but everything you're doing is wrong. So it's like, what do you expect? What are your expectations? And if you can't articulate it, then you just need to have several seats.
Exactly. And that enough's enough, just be thankful that people are stepping up to the plate and speaking what they got to speak to on the circumstances, period.
Dialect what say you.
At the end of the day, they can stay in their cookie cutter ass house and drink their little wine and not give a fuck.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job with the verse. It was lyrical. It actually surprised me because I haven't heard LL spit anything lyrical like that in years. I think a lot of the commercial things that he had was more towards the ladies, more party joints. So this was like the most lyrical I heard LL like in probably the past 20 years. So I liked it. Thought it was dope.
Yeah, I thought so too, Dialect. Not since the Gap commercial has I heard him. I haven't heard anything since the Gap commercial.
Hey, what was the kid that battles? He did a joint with one of the major URL cats. One of the battle. It was like four heads, and of course he was the elder statesman. And when I heard him spit, I'm like, and this probably was like 4 or 5 years ago, but he murdered it, and it let me know, like, just because somebody takes an alternate path, don't sleep on the skill set. You know what I'm saying? I think
you're right. Yeah, you think they're past it.
You think LL wrote it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's interesting.
Yes, sir. Now,
whether he wrote it down or spit it off top, I don't know.
Sure, he wasn't reading off the laptop.
It was written.
You sure wasn't the
whatever he did, but he wrote it. He either typed it. If he read it off the laptop, he typed it. If it was on a notepad, he wrote it.
So it's LL's lyrics, you say?
Either way, it was what he felt. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. No
I can see him saying something like that. That's not out of character in my mind for somebody like LL, because like Dialect said, there were the later years that everybody remembers with Boyz II Men and Hey Lover and all that, but the early years is what makes you realize that this is who LL always has been. If you remember him from early,
man, listen,
then you know this was him always.
LL has never been.
This is the thing.
He hasn't been what?
He's never been an activist.
Well, maybe he moved in silence and we didn't know about it.
That's okay.
That is true though, because I think the self-destruction joint, I think he refused to rap in that or something like that.
Okay,
no, he's never been an activist.
But he's an active. But that's okay. He's speaking out now. That's neither here nor there. But what people tend to forget is, don't let the smooth taste fool you. We all have a history, okay? And I'll tell you right now, I got a history. I'm a cool guy. I'm real laid back. I like to joke. I like to have fun. But don't let the smooth taste fool you. Everybody's got that within them. We grow up.
The only reason why I asked if he wrote it is because the scripts that he reads for that cop show, he doesn't write that. So if they're asking for him to
that's
talk,
fine.
That would have been
that magnet.
When he didn't write it. He wouldn't write the lyrics.
That's two different.
You're completely conflating two different things.
What? I don't understand. Conflating means.
No, that's two different. That's two separate. That's two separate forms.
Conflating means
acting versus
charges against you, Dave.
Hold on. So you're saying he's
Juan, don't help.
He's two different people? I'm not understanding.
It's two different functions. It's two different functions. He's acting versus speaking
How do we
his
know he wasn't
mind
acting
is
like a
very two
rapper at
different
that
things.
time? How do we know he wasn't acting like a rapper here?
Ask him.
This guy, way off.
Get him, Juan.
That's all I can say to that.
I'm telling you, he's out in the left field seat, sitting next to Juan, eating the hot dog, talking to the pigeon.
Who made you guys the authority of this situation? If the people
I don't
need
know
him
who
to
made you
speak
the
his mind,
authority.
if people need him to speak his mind instead of rapping, then that's their choice. They can ask for that. That's up to them. It's no.
Okay, that's cool. They can ask for that.
He has to rap.
They can ask for that.
Who
He don't
said
have to fucking.
because he was black.
That's
He
okay.
has to rap. I don't understand. What makes it mean he has to rap?
Who said that? Who said that?
Well, you
Who
said he's
said that he
speaking
had
his
to be black?
language.
Hey, what
You
show
said he
is
was
that?
speaking
Is
his
that Law and Order?
language. I didn't
He's
understand
speaking his
what
fucking
speaking his
language. He's a rapper.
What speaking his language means.
He don't, bro. He don't. He's not acting if he never rapped, bro. First of all, LL Cool J came up because he was an MC.
Excuse me. His first introduction to us was in Crush Groove, and that is an acting role, correct? He was acting like a rapper there, correct?
But he was rapping prior to Crush Groove.
Oh, hold on. I didn't hear him. I wasn't aware of LL Cool J.
Does that mean he wasn't rapping because you didn't hear him?
Does that mean
That
he wasn't
part.
acting?
Falls in the woods and nobody hears it?
Does that
Come
mean
on,
he
bro.
wasn't acting before he got that role?
Huh?
I don't understand. The two.
That seems to be a refrain for you. You don't understand.
Absolute
Right.
of him being a rapper is ridiculous. And that is not his language. His language is English, I believe. So if people said maybe it would have been better if he spoke instead of singing, due to the fact that he does more talking
Troll
now.
time. Troll
rapping.
time.
That's all I'm
Ring
saying.
the
Troll
bell.
time, y'all. What time is it?
Nobody here is the
12:18. It's troll time.
what LL Cool J's contribution to society should be.
Just let him wear
Troll
himself out.
time. Troll time.
Call it what you like. I'm just telling you how it is. We're not no lord and masters here to say he has to rap or it's his language. I don't know what the fuck that means.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
His language
tell
is
him he
English.
have to fucking talk, and you're not Lord and Master to tell him he
not.
to talk.
I did not say
he
has
did it
to.
the way he wanted to do
He
it.
has the alternative to speak if he wants to. It's not his language to rap. That's ridiculous.
And he chose not to. He chose not to. And
That's
so
why I
he
asked
decided
him
to rap his
That's
language.
why I asked did he write it, because if
That's
he
his
didn't write it,
language.
if he didn't write it, then he was just acting like a rapper.
Bro, you way off the deep. Wipe your forehead, bro. You sweating. You trying too hard.
It's hot. I'm just sweating. I'm not sweating a damn thing. I'm just
I'm telling you, he's out in the seat
You a
with
dog
Juan
fool.
eating the hot dog with the pigeon. Even the pigeon's giving him the side eye at this point.
Hey, hold up. Hey, David, look at the bottom there. Stephanie Ellis. Go back to Stephanie Ellis's comment. Go back to Stephanie Ellis.
What did Stephanie say?
Hey, Dave, look at what Stephanie's telling you. Crush Groove was 85. I Need a Beat was 84.
Again.
Thank you.
Oh, Stephanie with the facts.
Does that mean he wasn't acting? Who? I don't understand.
I'm saying.
What is your point? Does that mean he's a native rapper? Because he.
What is your point? What is your point?
My point is.
What is your point?
When the audience asks, he should have rapped.
I'm not sure.
Does it mean it's his language is rapping? I don't understand that comment. His language is rapping. No, it's not. It's like
that's his
not
language.
Understanding the analogy, sweetheart.
It's English, and however he wants to transpire English or rapping, that is up to him. But what I'm saying is, the audience
somebody give Dave a tranquilizer, man.
Hit him with the Karari dart, something.
So you're saying he wasn't trying to?
Thank you, Grace. Thank you, Grace.
He wasn't trying to communicate.
What Grace say?
She said Dave is expressing himself, and go ahead, Dave, express yourself.
We're letting him tire himself out.
I can never tire myself out.
Okay, well in that case, we're gonna go ahead and pivot.
I'm not gonna sit back and listen to no more idiocy. Okay, I'm gonna cut in whenever I think that there's a ridiculous statement being made, and his language is not fucking rapping. Period.
Yeah, I got the song queued up if y'all want to hear it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and hear that.
What you think, Alex?
Miss Martin, about my language?
Yeah.
For 400 years, you had your knees on our necks. a garden of evil with no seeds of respect. In America's mirror, all she sees is regret. Instead of letting blood live, they begging for bloodlet. Revenge is a dish that's served on platelets. Transfusion of confusion, abusing our intellect. I can't be bought with a $1,200 check, even though $1,200 can make a meal stretch. My mama wasn't rich, but she earned my respect. She made a little bit of money for a lot of blood, tears, and sweat. Jumping up and down on police cars, I'm vexed. After Chauvin killed George Floyd, we got next. Molotov cocktails, anarchy on the set. The rich took the loot, so now we loot shit. Feeling like a caged tiger that's whipped to do tricks. That's why I started fires and yelled and threw bricks. They tried to run me over and arrest me and shit. Tase pepper spray and engage with the kid. They ran up in the state house with them AKs quick. But let a try and do that white boy shit. Won't be no rubber bullets ricocheting off ribs. But the white supremacists go in the cops' faces spit. Try to barbecue, Becky call the cops on the kid. Hoping and praying it'd be some Emmett Till shit. Sandra wasn't bland, they hated Mike cause he brown. Trayvon should have had an Aston Martin riding around. Amadou Diallo, it's way too many to follow. Vato, how much of my pride I gotta swallow? God only knows how deep this plan goes. I was dealing with this shit as a teen in Kangos. Harassed by cops, word to my ancestors' souls. And watching that man die slow left a hole. He cried for his mama as the murder unfold. If it wasn't for them phones, Chauvin would be at home. Feeling justified because of George's skin tone. I'm telling it to those with melanin, you're not alone. The new Malcolm, Martin, and Marcuses are now grown. America's a graveyard full of black men's bones. And I ain't got to tell you that Breonna Taylor got slayed in her own home. Had they lived, Sean could have rocked bells. Eric could have garnered attention. Beyond the t-shirts and obituary mentions. Oscar could have been counting grants. Tamir could have went to Rice. They owed them cops nothing, but all of them paid the price. So yeah, you right. We should protect our Second Amendment rights. Because in a second, a dirty cop can kick the door in at night. A 2-4-2 finna life for life. We refuse to live in hell while you living in paradise. Being black in America is like rolling a paradise. But the stakes are way higher, you gambling with my life. Black Lives Matter.
First of all, that's not a rap. That's called spoken word. That's all. I'm not saying anymore.
That's a rap. It's acapella.
Yeah.
There was nothing harmonic about it. There was no musical flow to it whatsoever. It was yelling and it was pretty much spoken word. It's what they do in Def Poetry Jam.
No, that was a rap, man. It was acapella.
I thought it was a Law and Order script.
Thank you. You put it to a beat dialect and bring it back to me in song form, please, and then we'll judge if it's okay.
You can rap
You do it
of a beat. You can do that.
Okay. You see, I think that's what my problem is. I don't know what rap is no more.
That's what it seems like. I don't think you ever knew.
No,
You said it.
Honestly,
Low blow.
I don't come here to tell you guys my musical taste. You guys come here to tell me yours.
Ooh, and the crowd roars.
Damn right.
Yeah, the silence is deafening. So Ice Cube joined Charlamagne Diddy against Biden Democrats. Let's hold the vote hostage. So
That's right.
are they the ones to say that? Like, is it up to Diddy and Charlamagne and Ice Cube to tell people, let's hold the black vote hostage until there's a black agenda we're satisfied with?
I don't know that it's up to them, but I think it's a great statement.
Yo, why is he frozen though?
He's holding his
God
black
don't like
vote.
ugly.
He's holding his black vote hostage.
Hey, a little bit late. And note to ourselves not to hold a drink because the latency will hold you freezing.
Yeah, but
sorry, Diva.
Let the truth be told.
I mean, I can kind of see where they're coming from, man. I feel like black people have been giving Democrats their votes for years and have gotten nothing in return.
But does it always have to be about black people? I mean, it is a republic. I mean,
I understand that, but if they're voting for you, they should at least get something, not saying like money or anything like that, but some type of law passed, like to stop police
Something.
brutality, something. Yeah, because we're voting for them. Everybody else gets something in return.
You know, we hear this theme
That's
all the
true.
time during the protest. And one of the things I've heard, like I think it was the governor of maybe the lieutenant governor of Georgia, it's like what they keep saying is you got to be able to articulate what you want. And every time we get to these mass protests, you get these factions that we want this over here, we want this over there, we want all of them arrested, we want third degree, second degree, first degree. And at the end of the day, it's like, dude,
what's the black agenda? What's the black agenda? That's my question to you.
That's what Charlamagne says that. What's the black agenda? Well, isn't that all relative? Because you know what I'm saying, my black might be different than your black. A Texas black is different than New York black. And an Alaska black is different than, you know what I'm saying, a Florida black.
A Republican black might be different from a Democrat black.
And a Southern Democrat might be different than a Republican. So
right.
I mean,
what he's trying to do is what most unions do, and that's unionize the vote. They all vote in clusters. And if he think that he's going to unionize the black folks for free, he's out of his mind. People want, like you said, individually want different things. They want lower taxes in New York, and they want people in New York. People in New York want more taxes out in Kentucky somewhere, Arkansas somewhere, where they're taking almost a large portion of the system and yet giving back only peanuts. And so the black and the white agendas might be the same. We don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, that comes down to the class divide.
Dave, that is the most profound shit I've ever heard you say since we started this show, bro. I agree with you 100%. You will and I'm being very serious with that because this is a very serious moment in our fucking time. And I think at the end of the day, if you look down in the weeds, I really believe what he just said is it's very accurate. We all want quality of life. I don't think there's much different that anybody wants on either side of the fence. Unless you rich and you got it like that, it don't matter. We all want the same things. We want the best for our kids. We want a quality of life. That's the goal, right?
That's it. Part of my goal, of course, to get the free money.
Well, let me tell you a story. In this opening or rephrasing, how it goes, however it goes, the upstate New York rephrasing is different than the city's rephrasing. In fact, Cuomo said if upstate had to wait for downstate to reopen, they would never reopen. Yeah, so we having different opinions and fractions right here in our own states. You understand? So how can we even compete with other countries that's united in certain aspects of life, like education, like healthcare, economies, where the wealth should go, and things like that? We are all divided, and being in the republic, we are individuals, and that might not be the right thing to be. Maybe we need to conform more into a unity and understand that's what they want to do. I guess they want to conform into a unity of black voters that we're going to vote for. Maybe we end up voting for Trump. If he promised to give us another $1,200, $2,000 a month, we don't know what would it take to convince the majority. Because Trump said he has a silent majority. I don't know what that means. I don't know who they are or what they represent or why they silent. But he's saying that that's who won the election for him in 2016, and that's who's going to win it for him in 2020. Now, if Diddy, Charlamagne, Ice Cube form some sort of way to stop that, I'm all for it. If that's the way it's going to be, we're going to vote just to stop Trump, then that's what it's going to be.
You know, I never really liked. I didn't understand Charlamagne's point of view from that. Yeah, I mean, what is Charlamagne saying? I mean, don't vote at all, or I mean, our choices are Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
If we don't vote for Biden, we vote for Trump. That's the bottom line.
So yeah, I don't know.
Bro, y'all come with some profound shit. Yo, Juan, that's the most profound shit I've ever heard you say since we started the show.
Damn, the shade.
Hey, John, you said it to all the girls.
Y'all just throwing palm trees at each other tonight. Now, the big thing about it is that,
but you don't think that's right, Diva? You don't think that's right?
Well,
so you're telling me that you don't think what Dave said, as far as it could quite be possible that the white and the black agenda is the same, right? And then Juan just said the choices between candidates is Tweedledee and Tweedledum. That's pretty fucking accurate.
Well, if you let me unpack it.
Unpack it.
What Dave is saying, it's really big. It's very big picture. And what we're trying to do is narrow the focus down to what these protesters are coming in with and what they're asking for and what they're saying. So that's what really needs to happen. Of course, there are socioeconomic factors in everybody's lives. There's class divides that then turn into racial divides. I mean, back in the Johnson administration, he's the one that flipped the parties because he said, if we can get a poor white man to think he's better than a rich black man, we'll have their vote for the next 50 years. He wanted blacks to vote Democrat so that they would be in charge longer. So it goes back to that. Now that we're at a place where we finally are waking up to that idea, yeah, it's time to get together and say, what is a black agenda? We may not all be a monolith, and we may all have different ideas about what we want to see, but we have collective bargaining tools. We have a collective conscious about what we want to see. So yes, we'd like to see less food deserts. We'd like to see better education. We'd like to see schools repaired. Those things can be the linchpins. And then if somebody, has ticky-tack little things, that's what they call pork when you're in Congress. If you have your special little projects and everything else, you can have those addressed. But the bigger factors are what everybody needs to get behind. Everything you want done individually needs to be at a local level. It can't always be federal.
But this is my point.
So
they're not crying about schools in upstate New York. That's not a problem. You understand what I'm saying? That's a problem for downstate, for Brooklyn,
Right.
Queens,
Right.
Manhattan,
Right.
Staten Island, and Bronx. They have a problem with education, not upstate New York. So all those other rural areas where majority of them pretty much are property taxes is funding their educations, they don't have a problem with education. Only poor people have a problem with education. Now let's talk about that issue with the protesters. Okay, they can protest all they want, but no law is going to change unless it's united federally. You understand what I'm saying? They're not going to have New York and New Jersey and Connecticut with different laws for the authorities than they have in Delaware, Virginia, and North Carolina. It's just not going to happen because a police won't work for a state that allows them to be prosecuted on a whim. You understand what I'm saying? So the protest is merely just hype. Okay, there's nothing they can get done unless, of course, somebody, if Biden decides to make it a part of his agenda, then maybe there's something can happen. And I mean, then again, there's still a Republican House, so it would have to be a Democrat House.
Yeah, you're starting to feel the permafrost starting to get you.
The Supreme Court is majority Republican. You understand what that means?
Right.
That means all the laws that we put before them will go on a conservative theory. It will be a conservative mindset. So the protesters are wasting their time and they're destroying property for no reason because nothing to change.
Again, you are all over the place with the points you're trying to make. Because that is like you went from the protesters to that. I got it. You went from the protesters to the Supreme Court to the Republican House. I'm saying if you're going to use New York as an example, that's a local thing. That's a local issue that needs to be handled. When you go out and vote for your city council, vote for your board of education, vote for the comptroller. That's how you handle that on a local level. Then when we move up the ladder to the federal level, that's where the feds make the blanket rules. And then the states comply according to what the states need there. So yeah, it's going to be different in Western New York than it's going to be in downstate. And then it's going to be different than it is in Connecticut. And that's just the way it is. So you want all these other issues conflated, and that doesn't help.
Blanket law has there been installed into American society?
Roe versus Wade.
How long ago was Roe? And the woman that said that she said she came out on a deathbed.
That's what last time that they made a blanket law that every state had to go by.
And my point exactly is there is nothing. Healthcare was.
You asked me when was the last time. I just answered you.
And that was 40 years ago, almost 50 years ago.
You asked a question and I answered it. That
So
was that was
my
some
point
time,
is,
and it's before that. It's criminal justice reform that Trump just passed. So,
and
Dave, what's really the point you're trying to make here?
Yeah.
Because you're all over the place. You're seeing squirrels. I need you to really focus on what you're trying to make a point on.
What did that do, dear? What did that do? The criminal justice reform. What has it done? Besides release the people Kim Kardashian requested. Give me somebody else that's escaped death row. How about some of the drug convictions overturned? How about that? Where are they?
How about
Have
that?
you looked for them?
My point is there have not been any significant change federally in a very long time. And this is what I'm talking about when you say there's going to be some federal law that stops police brutality or unlawful uses of chokeholds. It's not going to happen unless, of course, there's somebody that runs on that platform. And no one's running on that platform.
How about that?
No, I think what Dave was saying is very accurate, right? So yeah, we can talk about what we want. A president can talk about what they want on their platform till they're blue in the face. But unless you got a fully Republican or fully Democrat, depending on who's in office in each of the houses, it doesn't matter because
nothing changes.
Right, exactly. Dave, I'm in total agreement with you, and that's where my frustration is in all of it. It's almost like it's designed to be a log jam.
Absolutely.
All the fucking time.
It's a stagnant democracy. And unfortunately, that is the conservative way. Unfortunately.
But you guys are actually making their point. That's where you come in and you use your vote.
We've been voting since, I don't know, how long have you guys been voting? I've been voting since 96. Okay? Nothing. That was the first presidential election I voted in. 96.
Yo, Dave.
There's nothing changed since 96, to be honest with you.
Hey, Dave.
Yes,
you got your tinfoil hat around there? Let's put our we're going to be our own Bash Brothers with tinfoil hats, bro. How about that?
You're going to need to be, because at this point, I mean, you're basically saying, fuck it.
No, what I'm saying here is when you...
Because all I hear you saying is, well, there's not enough Republican votes and the protesters are doing stupid shit and it's not going to change anyway.
No,
so.
he's just saying that
it's really obtuse at this point. Like...
That's exactly it. Grace.
Honestly, yes, please read the Honorable Grace Martin's comment.
Yes, she's exactly accurate. That's exactly where we're coming from. Dave, you know we don't agree much, but bro, I'm agreeing with you on this one, bro. We're going to wear our tinfoil hats together, and we're going to ride into the sunset.
What I'm trying to explain to you, Miss Views, is the fact that, yes, we got lucky with healthcare, okay? We got Barack in there. We got a Democratic Party, but you know this country is on the brink of a depression. In 2008, when we elected Barack Obama, and when I say we the people, I'm speaking, in general. That the country was pretty much bankrupt. Okay, so now we're on the teeter of or the precipice of a Great Depression right now. So there's a possibility that Biden might win. But Biden is not running on no healthcare platform. He's not running on no police reform bill. You understand what I'm saying? Well, he's running on whatever he's running for.
You're just not black enough if you don't vote for him. That's his platform.
All I'm saying is there is no candidate out there running right now for anything for Charlemagne, Ice Cube, or Diddy to get behind. So.
And that's the issue, right? The two-party system is cocky. Period. It's cocky because for any third
around
party,
the mulberry bush again and came right back to the same point. That's what they're saying.
That's what a conversation. No. What they're saying is that if someone can come up with an agenda for them to get behind, then they will promote the black vote for them. But that's not going to happen. Biden is not going to get behind police reform. Biden is not going to get behind free healthcare. Biden is not going to get behind anything that is prevalent to the black community right now. You understand? He's not going to give us no free COVID-19 tests. Excuse me for using that foul language. But now, let's get to something that's important. Drew Brees comments and Killer Mike discusses. Now, I don't know what Killer Mike had to say, but I can tell you right now my personal opinion of Drew Brees is that he's a phony.
Well, let's set it up, Dave. Let's back up. Let's set up. What did Drew Brees actually say?
Well, Drew Brees said that he can't get behind anyone kneeling during the national anthem and kneeling in front of Old Glory, which is what President Trump called it, Old Glory. Okay, so now during the protest last week, Drew Brees came out and said that he doesn't condone anyone anywhere not saluting or placing a hand on their hearts towards the flag during the national anthem. Now, why I say Drew Brees is a phony is because there was a time where Drew Brees could have came out with that statement during the beginning of it, and he didn't. Why he didn't do it then is because I guess he felt his team was winning or could be winning a title, and he didn't want to disrupt anything. But saying it now, where he's making his claims, he can make everything all right before training camp gets here and still be a good old boy.
Wow, good old boy. Another good old boy in the NFL there. Yeah, and my take on that too with Drew Brees is that, you think about the emotional impact that those words have on your teammates. And I think that one of his teammates came out there and pretty much went against this quarterback, which is rare. You don't see that in football or any type of sports where there's some type of pecking order. But we saw that this week with Drew Brees and his teammates, and they came out vehemently thinking that was, an unfair thing to say.
Who the hell did this? Yo, the thing is this, right? So it goes back to what we were saying earlier when we first started. There's no right way to protest. You can't kneel. You can't go out there and protest. Like, at what point? And this is why you're seeing what you're seeing. This is why you're seeing the rioting and everything else, because you keep saying, anytime somebody tries to voice their opinion or use their freedom to voice what their displeasure with what's going on, you're telling them they're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's pretty much the crux of it. So at the end of the day, you keep stifling voices. Get ready for whatever you're going to have to deal with. You can't stifle voices for too long. I'm sorry.
And I totally agree, Architect. I mean, when you really think of this, right? I mean, the NFL and the whole country, they didn't want you to take a knee for Colin Kaepernick, but they wanted us to take a knee for the officer who kneeled on George Floyd's neck.
Right.
It's insane to me.
Right.
Well, that's my point is that it had to. When the kneeling first began, Drew Brees had no comment. But after a man's death at the hands of an officer, pretty much kneeling in his neck and causing his death, where it's still undetermined how the cause of his death yet. That's a court case in itself. But it for that to occur.
Dave.
Say again.
I saw the videotape.
Yeah, no, we all saw the videotape, but there's two different medical examiners.
And I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this. After everybody sees the videotape, it takes 6 months for someone else to look at it.
Listen, look, and this is the issue that I have in all of it, right? And we discussed this on our Sunday broadcast. The media can show you visually exactly what's happening. You see it with your own two eyes, but the narrative, the narration over that video supersedes what your eyes are seeing. I don't know what anybody else saw, but the man died right before my eyes. That's what I witnessed.
Okay,
they can tell you he died at the hospital, but we all know what we saw.
Okay, during the week we found out he was COVID positive. We also found out that and his parents' or his mother's personal investigation in his death, autopsy, that there was a cause from the neck injury. Now,
excuse me, that does not give you a right to die.
No. What I'm saying here is that Drew Brees waited to this particular time. It's as if he was an agent. You understand?
Right.
This is the time when kneeling has become so important because it was the cause of the man's death that now Drew Brees comes out and makes a statement. Now, if he made a statement prior to that incident occurring, then you could say, yeah, okay, that's the way the man feels. But now, after you see he's been publicized with the president, Donald Trump, and now he comes out with this statement. You look at him as an agent or some sort of
it's like a power move.
Yes, that he wants to stay in good company with Donald Trump, and that's not right.
No, I agree with that. I'm be honest with you. My initial thought was "fuck you, Brees," but that was just me.
Yeah. Well, switching gears, turning around the corner a little bit. I know we talked about whether or not LL Cool J wrote his lyrics, but what about the writers from Law and Order? Ice-T applauds the firing of Law and Order writers for the organized crime series.
Honestly, can they come up with any more stories for that series? I mean, that series is on 30 years now, man.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm not understanding what was the firing for?
So one of the writers for another spinoff of Law and Order, which is Law and Order Organized Crime, one of the writers decided that he was going to go on his personal page and discuss how he's got a Mossberg and he's standing on the porch, taking the usual amosexual picture, and says, "I wish somebody would come down here, try looting, they'll get lit up." And I'm pretty sure he used N-word with the A. And
was that
of
the
course,
clip that we were watching before the broadcast?
No, that's a different guy.
Okay.
Same vein though. And he, of course, did on his page. People recognized him, knew who he was. Dick Wolf, the godfather of the series, basically got on Twitter and fired him.
Wow.
And said, we're not going to work with somebody who would say something like that. And of course, Ice-T, who is the one who started the whole F the Police genre, came out and applauded the decision. He just said, "You know what? I'm glad you guys moved swiftly. I'm glad that you stood against this. If you have that thought," and the reason people are losing jobs and getting fired and stuff for over infractions like this is because if you already have that thought process, who wants to be around you? Can they trust you? Right. Can they trust your behavior and your perspective to respect them? So if this guy's a writer on a series where they're going to be cops and criminals and all that kind of thing, and he's got to work with you in the writer's room, what's his thought process? How is he going to react and how's he going to act? So that's why people are moving this way so swiftly to just cut the head off the Hydra as soon as they see it.
Not to correct Miss Diva, but just for chronological accuracy, we're going to say Ice-T didn't become affiliated with anti-policing until he did the Cop Killer song, and that was in the 90s. Ice Cube was the originator of Up the Police and NWA.
Okay.
But yes, the writer probably wanted out. He probably wanted out. I mean, these insensitive comments don't just fly off a person's tongue. They have these thoughts in their mind, and if he really, really, really probably decided that, you know what, who knows when we'll be going back to filming television again. You understand? So now I'm in contract with these people and don't know if we'll ever record this show ever again. So I want to get out of here, and so possibly I can sell my
that's how he felt.
else.
That's how he felt.
That's how he felt.
That's how he felt. He had a lot of idle time to think about that shit. That's how he felt.
Just like people who apologize and say, "That's not who I am." No, that was you. We saw you. That was you.
But he knew who he was before he got on there. And he knew Ice-T was a part of the show and also other African Americans.
Makes you wonder what his background conversations was when he wasn't involved with
them. Exactly.
When he was in his
that just makes it worse.
So then Dick Wolf is a racist. I guess that's why he fired him, because that would be the quintessential conclusion.
Huh?
That would be the quintessential conclusion, is that Dick Wolf also is a racist.
Right.
If this guy felt comfortable with being an employee under Dick Wolf as a writer, then he must have felt that they had something in common. If you're saying that he had these notions prior to joining the writing guild or whatever
so now Dick Wolf is guilty by association?
Absolutely, sweetheart. If he had those notions and he thought for 1 second that Dick Wolf would be against him, why would he go and get the job? I mean, this is a brand new show. This show didn't just start.
Because he needed a job? I mean, that's a stretch.
If he needed a job, why would he say that? See, you're not understanding what I'm saying. For him,
because he didn't think he would get caught.
Really?
That's why people do that shit. What about the clip we watched before we came on? And the guy said it was a private Snapchat. He didn't think anybody would see it, and so that's why he said all that stupid stuff.
Right.
People don't think they're gonna get caught.
I think they think that they weren't going to get caught after they already published it. You understand what I'm saying? Unless, of course, somebody outs him. Was he outed? Did somebody?
He was outed.
Okay, now.
Yeah.
That's totally different. If he was outed, that's totally different. I didn't know he was outed.
Yeah. But see, that goes for the next story that we have on deck that is just almost funny to me. Trina gets dragged for the filth by Black Twitter and whoever else are their allies, because Trina and Trick Daddy had this show down in Miami, and I forget who the station is, like 95.7 Jams or something like that. Everybody's got a podcast these days. And of course, they were talking about the recent current events. So Trick Daddy, I guess, was trying to be the voice of reason. And he was, giving condolences and talking about how it's not right. And he's so glad to see a movement. Trina came out her mouth. And
she was bugging.
It was
she
totally
said that
wrong.
protesters were animals. They hurt her friend's shop, and she has a kid. Of course, everybody's saying that now. They need to be. She knows what she's doing because she always has her license, registration, insurance on her. I mean, Trick Dad just sat there and let her talk.
Well,
I think there's got to be a distinction made, right? And I think, unfortunately, because of the environment that we are in at this current moment, you have to be very clear with what you're saying, right? If you want to say the provocateurs that are promoting violence, et cetera, are animals, okay, I feel you. But this goes back to my main issue with what's happening nowadays is there's always this blanket statement that people are putting out, and sometimes I don't think they intentionally are doing it. I think just in their mind, they assume that people understand what they mean when they say this stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're not being specific, and they think you get what they're saying from their perspective. It's like, we don't know what you mean from your perspective. You've got to be clear.
Now, Trina caught hell because they thought she was comparing Black people to animals.
Right.
And the protesters to animals.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Okay, no. But however, there were multiple cultures that were protesting. There was really mainly the Antifa individuals that were doing most of the damage. You understand?
That we can agree on.
And those people are not all Black people.
Right.
No, not at all.
So she shouldn't have caught in the hell that she caught, because she could have been calling just regular people that behave like animals.
Exactly. That's my point. And that's where that's the problem with the culture that we're in right now is people deal very much on emotion. They don't listen to hear. They're already spun up by the time they're hearing anything coming from people's mouths. When I saw what she said, I immediately, and this is just me, I immediately said, yeah, some of these motherfuckers are acting like that. But I didn't assume that she meant
Black people. Now, whoever thought that she meant Black people were animals, they are the racists.
Wow. That's powerful.
Okay.
But so I'm just saying, all in all, and this goes with everything that's going on right now. I've got friends from all backgrounds, all nationalities. And the one thing that upsets me is when the blanket statements come out, right? When these white people, like some white people, not these, you know what I'm saying? Like there's this, and I get what I get what they're saying when they say it, but if they were to go publicly or be a public figure and say these white people, automatically that's the blanket statement takes course and everybody's like, and of course the news is going to report it, that just white people in general. So, that's just disappointing to me. I mean, I don't think that she meant what they're trying to say she meant. That's just my opinion. But
I just think people didn't appreciate that she called any protester an animal. Like, you're calling a person an animal, and then
but you got to take the context.
No.
The context.
She went on a whole other tangent.
She was calling looters animals. Looters.
Right.
She didn't say protesters. She said looters. And
right.
for that, she should not have apologized And for that, her job shouldn't have been in jeopardy and made her apologize.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So the whole other tangent that she went on.
We don't support looters here at Hip Hop Citizen. I almost said Hot 97.
unless it's hey, hold on. Unless it's Tyson's 2 in Fairfax.
Well, always leave it to Black Twitter to swoop in and gather someone. And Trina's been out of pocket for a minute since she's been on Love and Hip Hop. She's coming after everybody. She's trying to challenge Kaya and say Kaya's not good enough to challenge her. And nobody's feeling her right now as it is. So I think that's also another reason.
Dialect's got a face on him, like he's got to let something off. What do you feel about that, bro?
I agree with you. Like, she didn't say, if she said looters, but, in these times, you shouldn't call anybody animals. You should just say, like, the looters are wrong without the name calling. Because when you're a celebrity, people take anything you say and run with it, So,
right.
Yeah, I think it was the wrong thing for her to say, given her status as a celebrity.
So you saying that would you compare it to nappy-headed hoes?
It wasn't that bad, but like I said, given the time and her saying it, the media is gonna flip it.
Oh, so here we go. This is kind of on topic, off topic. So I had a friend of mine today who happens to be white, and I'll say off top, I don't kind of agree with the direction of it. But anyway, I don't know if you saw the what's her name, Candace Owens comment surrounding George, but so she posted it, and honestly, the post was very. She said, this is a perspective that I saw. I'm trying to get feedback on what you think of it. She got blasted and was basically being called racist for posting it. But if you look at what she said specifically, I'm looking for, what you think about this, etc. It wasn't that she believed what she was saying. She just posted it to get dialogue. And immediately
she got it.
She didn't get dialogue. But I'm just saying, so she says that, I'm looking, what do you guys think about this article? And immediately she was called racist for posting that article. So, again, people aren't listening to listen. They are very emotional at this point. You know what I'm saying? If you read what she says, she's like, in fact, this lady didn't even know who the hell Candace Owens was. That's how disconnected in that realm she was.
Let me interject.
It's not anybody's job to educate her on Candace or anything else. Not right now. It's
but does that make her racist?
And it's too soon.
Where it is right now, you either with me or you're against me. Bottom line. So Candace Owens is considered a anti-Black Lives Matter individual.
She's persona non grata.
And I am a pro-Black Lives Matters individual. So therefore, there's no in between for her and I.
Yeah, Candace Owens, the Jesse Lee Petersons, and Diamond and Silk, they just do what they do. I don't even think they believe what they're saying. They realize if they do that, they get pats on the back. They get somebody would say, some butter biscuits, some Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? And they'll be happy with those type of things. I don't even take them seriously.
They're happy for the attention and the pats on the head. This is like when Stacey Dash was on Fox News.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, she ain't been right since Kanye dropped her at the airport.
Well, the thing about it is, if you get an anomaly such as these individuals, African Americans, that's willing to Pied Piper the conservative agenda, then they're going to get what they get. I mean, they're going to be treated like particular royalty amongst their groups because they are the pink
outlier. Yeah, they're the outlier. So that's why they get the attention that they get, because if you're stepping away from the collective, then that's how you get attention. They see you stepping away from the collective. And it's not that Black people are a monolith, but we have a shared collective background of experiences that we can speak to. And then you dig down into the individual pieces. So with your friend posting stuff like that, and I've seen other people do it in my feed. Well, what do you guys think about this? I'm just trying to learn. Not right now. We ain't got time right now. This is not the time.
It's
You got a whole Google.
When is there a good time?
You got a supercomputer in your hand.
John,
please use Wikipedia. Like, not right now.
Hold on. But when is there a good time? Because when we come into this stuff, it's never a good time.
Like I said, when Drew Brees would have made his comments prior to Gregory Floyd, George Floyd getting his neck broke by the officer, then that would have been the appropriate time.
Right.
After you come after that happens and you say it, it's as if you're almost bringing attention to it.
You're feeding off of it. Yeah. So it's like this. Your timing is off. Like, now that this has happened and we're mad and we're raw and we're upset and we're in the middle of this, now you want a history lesson? Now you want a civics lesson? Like, no, we don't have time. You got a whole supercomputer in front of you. Type in this stupid post. Go and look up some stuff. Go on books.google.com and look up some stuff. Read Toni Morrison. Read Zora Neale Hurston. I don't have time to break it down for you, Leslie.
I'll agree as far as the timing. I'm totally in agreement with that. I think I'll say I wouldn't have done that only because I know who the hell she is. You know what I'm saying? I know who Candace Owens is, but there are people that don't know that. I myself know she's a fucking troll.
Right.
And she's looking for attention.
I was just saying, like, she shouldn't have come running, pointing in the book and saying, who's this? Look it up. Look it up first. And then you can have a dialogue, you can have a conversation. We don't have time to break it down for you right now. We're kind of in the middle of something.
Look,
so we really don't have time to slow down and break it down for you.
Do you like Candace Owens?
I enjoy her perspective, and I think it's refreshing. It's great to see someone who can conjugate verbs and also get her a Stepford husband. You know what I'm saying? She looks like a Stepford's wife. And and congratulations to her. But listen, Ann Coulter is thinking to herself, who stole my check? Candace Owens did.
True. True.
All I'm saying
and Toni Lauren wishes she was Candace Owens at this point. So it's like,
if you're not going to support Black Lives Matter, don't say anything, because we already got the anti-Black Lives Matter movement occurring for the last 400 years in this country. We don't need someone from our side to be a spectator and throwing tomatoes at the individuals trying to spearhead some sort of reform that help Black Lives Matter.
Question for you, Dave. Question. If you live a life of privilege, do you have an obligation to care about the minority population?
Am I black or am I white?
There you go.
I just asked the question. I said,
that's a good point. That was a good question.
It doesn't matter if you're black or white.
No.
If I'm black and affluent,
contraire.
Hold up. I'm just saying. I mean, you could be black in South Africa. I'm just saying.
We're talking about here.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Once I'm born into the culture, I have to be a supporter of it and progress it. But if I'm born white, is it my obligation? No. But if I choose to, then that's my prerogative.
And they have that luxury.
Yes, they do. They can be pro-black.
They can choose to be ignorant. They can choose to be supportive. There you go.
I see the conversation.
Well, so here's where I'm at, right? I look at Juan, and Juan's a successful black man.
Hey man, I was until you said that.
Yeah.
Juan's a successful black man. He owns a couple properties. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's gonna air out all your stuff.
I'm like, damn, dude, look at my wallet right now.
Listen, so I'm just saying. So this is my thing. This is my question. And I've got a few friends of the same persuasion that are doing the same things that are very successful, right? So one could say it's about a mind state and what you choose to do and how you choose to move forward. And the classic, don't play the victim mentality. What do you think about that?
I love this argument. Go ahead.
I'm just for devil's advocate. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean I've always lived my life that way. I mean, like, I ain't waiting on nobody for shiznits. I got to get it myself. You know,
Yeah,
I go with my girl, and and someone say, I'll say, where's the toothpaste? They say aisle 9. My girl be like, I'm going to find aisle 9. My girl be like, where's aisle 9? I'm like, fuck that. Let's go get it. I mean,
No,
so
I think Don Juan's dedication and his devotion to Hiphopcitizen is all that he needs to provide for his people. He's taking care of his family. He's an American man, and his success does not define his role in the African American community. It's just a bonus that the fact that he's successful, in my opinion. Hiphopcitizen defines his role in the hip hop community.
So
Well,
no,
let me say this
my
because
question is, this is my question. Is there truth? Is there truth? Because the one could say that us minorities as a whole play a victim mentality, and they'll point to the Bob Johnsons and successful individuals of color that have made it and are doing very well, and say there is a pocket of individuals that are playing the victim mentality, and that's why they're being held back.
if
Do you find any truth in that?
Look,
No, I mean,
No.
I agree with you to an extent, because like me coming up, I had a different mindset, like probably like the first 20 years of my life. Then when I changed my mindset, I noticed things started to change for me for the better. But as far as like people in our community go, if you go through school, you go through the educational system, you don't really see Black people in a positive light. You know, you turn on TV, so they're not really inspired like how other groups are. So I don't know about them playing the victim though.
Let me add on to what Dialect is
fuck's
saying
sake.
there, because when you do watch the media and how they portrayal of the Black individual is, you can notice that there is a little a crookedness about them.
A
You understand
little
what I'm
shit.
saying? And for that to be the narrative that this country promotes, then you would have to say that if they do not cry out and say, "Hey, foul," then they're morons. So to say that they're crying victim is merely being how flippant of the fact that there is actual prejudiceness and superiorities, white supremacy, in some of the things that occur in this country.
Okay. So
That thought process is dismissive, and the
Okay.
people that they want to point to are exceptions, not examples. And there's a very big distinction with that, because you can point to Barack and say, well, racism is over. We elected you guys a biracial guy. Not the same thing
Yeah.
as Jerome working at Popeyes, second shift, trying to pay child support. That is not the same thing. So there are not the same opportunities. There's no equity. And there's a difference between equality and equity. Yes, in America, everybody, the streets are paved with gold. Anybody can make it if they really work hard enough and try their best. But if you've already got a disadvantage with skin color, with race, with gender, with class, then you already, like we always say, have to work twice as hard to get to the same level as somebody who has already started at that level. So the Bob Johnsons and Michael Jordans and Serena Williams are exceptions. They are not examples of what can be accomplished.
So that's why I had to ask. So I'll say this. Let me tell you what, like, from identification in my life and the things that I've dealt with and where I noticed where I stand, and I think why I've gravitated more towards hip hop culture, Black culture, et cetera, whatever you want to call it. So I came from an area, of course, born in New York, moved to Woodbridge, Virginia, where it was pretty diverse, white, Black, Asian. Like there was no, that racism didn't exist at that point. And maybe I was too young to recognize it. I don't know. But at that point, it did not exist. When I moved further south and I ran into, it was very black and white, to be frank. And Juan can speak to that because he lived in the same area. What I knew that I was looked at very differently is when I caught my first charge and I walked into the holding facility. They looked at me. They're filling out the paperwork, and I'm watching this sheriff's deputy fill out the paperwork, and he wrote black on the paperwork. At that point is when I knew what I was looked at as. And that at that point is when I was able to sympathize and empathize with, the discussions that we have currently.
Well, unfortunately, the jail system is segregated. So they wanted to make sure you didn't end up with the Aryan Nation, and they ended up punishing you for not being 100% white. But what we're talking about here is society and the way blacks, minorities, period, are portrayed in society is wrong because they're and I wrote this on my Instagram and I stick with it. I'll say it out my mouth right now. They are the punching bags of society. And whenever people get upset and angry, they come out of their house because they've been stuck in there for the last 2 months and they want to lay hands on something. The first people that they lay hands on is the African Americans. And unfortunately, that won't never change because we have no land to call our own. In China, when they were released from their COVID-19 quarantine, the first people that they attacked was the black people of their country. You understand what I'm saying?
Right, the African immigrants.
And it's going on around the world. So there's no escape for us. We will always be in that position.
So here's one to kind of throw at you. Do you believe that at times we play our own play a part in our own demise in terms of the visualization of how minorities are viewed, in terms of roles that we take on in movies, in terms of some of the music that we put out, and the imagery, gangsters and all this other stuff that gets put out, and we sign for the check. We sign for the check. You don't think that assists in that division of, because you got to think there's areas where there's individuals that don't come across minorities, but what they see is what they see on TV, and we're being paid to play those roles. You don't think that has anything to do with the view of minorities in society?
It does, and that's why more and more people are trying to diversify writers' rooms and directors' guilds and things like that as far as entertainment and boardrooms and C-suites. We see that can be an issue, and so because they see that, they're trying to take it in hand and make those changes so that it stops being that way, and there are more positive portrayals, there are more positive role models, more diverse CEOs, be they women or people of color. They know that exists and that's possible and it happens. So those changes are trying to come, and people fear those changes, and so they lash out and call it political correctness. They call it pandering. They call it tokens and quota systems. That's really just people trying to affect the change that they want to see in the world, and that's what they're trying to do. That segues perfectly into Blackout Tuesday that took place and how it got derailed, because Dialect came up with this story. And he was talking, basically it was these two female music executives who wanted to talk about how the music industry, the role they play, to your point, and how they need to be supportive of the movement that's taking place right now, that it's not just going to be a moment. So they said, okay, music industry, we want you to not play any music or do anything music related for this day. It was supposed to be, this past Tuesday, Dialect? And they said that, okay, we're just going to put a black square on your company page or on your Twitter or something to show that you're not putting anything out there using your art for you right now. Well, what happened when they put the idea out is somehow it got derailed. And the article I found on Vox was saying that people found out about the idea, and Jamila, one of the executives, specifically said, well, these white people, you don't hijacked it, said they were going to put a black square to show their solidarity, and then they put the hashtag Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Now, what happens?
Search.
What happens when you click the hashtag is all these black squares came up, and they didn't appreciate that because it was suppressing information. It was suppressing protest locations. One of the first people to speak out about it was Kehlani, and she noticed that right away. And she said, the singer and producer, and she said, no, she's a writer too. You guys are suppressing it when you put this hashtag on it. This wasn't supposed to mean this, but by the time they found out about it, it was off to the races. Like all my friends on my feed were doing that. All I saw was black.
Yeah.
Hey, John, I'd like to go back to your last question about African Americans taking pay for the roles that they portray in film, television, and things like that.
I'm just saying minorities, period. Because even like from a Hispanic perspective, gang members and all that cholo and all, you know what I'm saying? Just
most of that,
general.
most of those dramas and things that they create is from FBI data. So that's why it's important for them to maintain the status quo of the minorities being criminals so that they can portray it on television to be actual factual and not just some old racist creating roles for minorities to be received as criminals. So it's all FBI data. That's when you see something on television or a film, that it's people taking from FBI data, statistics from there, and they put it into
right. But what I'm saying is we can take a progressive role and say no.
No. You're not understanding. That means they would have to hire men to play women. They would have to hire whites to be blacks. You understand?
Well,
so,
they do that anyway, and there's a lot of movies where whites are playing black roles.
That's why
whitewashing, baby.
No, there's no whitewashing anymore. If we're gonna allow it, you understand what I'm saying? We have to speak up and say no. So that means we have to take those roles. We have to take that income. Denzel has to win his Oscar for being the cop in Training Day, and not Morgan Freeman driving Miss Daisy. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think that has a big effect on how minorities are viewed, man. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know.
We have to the grassroots level. We have to change the criminality that we're perceived as being. You understand? If we can't change that, then we will always be portrayed in the media of America as criminals. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. No, I think we're saying the same thing. I think we're saying the same thing.
No, I'm saying that we have to take the roles. It's not like we have a choice.
You don't have to.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Oh, you know what they do?
Let Brad Pitt be the fucking drug dealer.
You're not understanding that the statistics show that Brad Pitt would be the kingpin drug dealer, but there would be somebody that does the hand-to-hands. It's just the way those people are being arrested are blacks and minorities that's doing hand-to-hand transactions. So then,
this stupid shit.
then you're gonna have to have. Hey, you want me on the wall? You need me on the wall. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's more responsibility we could take. Like I look at Common and some of the things that he's done, and he's been in some roles that are questionable in my opinion, but for the most part, he's been very consistent in what he stands for. You know what I mean? Like I just want that. I want more of that. I appreciate when we go against the grain in that fashion, when we represent something of a higher standard. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
I'll tell you what the biggest issue in Black Hollywood is right now. It's not the roles that they're getting. It's the roles that's being outsourced.
Right.
There's a lot of English black actors that come here and they're taking the roles from the American black actors, and the American blacks are the ones that they're portraying. We are the ones that suffer for their art. You understand? And they take their financial well springs and go elsewhere with it. I don't know what's London like for a black individual, but it could be just as horrible as it is here. But I'm not saying that. What I'm saying here is that we catch hell and they get the roles. That is an issue. All right. The last hour and a half, I have to apologize to everyone. I've been high strung a little bit, maybe a little over emotional. But I appreciate everybody for chiming in on the comments line, sent to Miss Martin. And those that broke out because I was really ranting and raving. I give you all my love, and I'll see you next week. Hopefully, I have a better attitude towards life and the events that occur on the show.
It's all bro. I don't even think there needs to be an apology, man. At this point, the things that we're dealing with as a society, man.
What do you mean? That's my Drew Brees apology. I don't mean it.
Straight stupid.
I'm just saying it. I want to keep my job as quarterback. All right. Hey, my name is David Simonism. You can catch me on any platform except Twitter because they got smart early and banned me. I like to continue to tell you guys out there, COVID-19, the virus is very real, and we should not be condoning by passing the blunts, 40s, and cigarettes. Thank you.
And I'm Architect7. You can find me at Instagram. And let's work with love and light, y'all. Let's get through this. Let's see through all this color. And let's, like Dave said, I think we all might have the same agenda. We all want the same thing, quality of life and something good for our children. So, yeah, that's my piece.
Diva, don't forget to talk about Sunday night.
Oh, Sunday special report, 8 p.m. We'll be updating the issues of the day and discussing other issues that are adjacent to hip hop.
Thank you to the Bash Brothers as well. Now I'm going to turn to the Bash Brothers of Hiphopcitizen, Don Juan the Mac, and Dialect 718.
All right, yeah, and of course, I think this is the part where we do the socials, right?
That's right.
All right, that's where we're at Hiphopcitizen, and of course, you can always hit me up at Don Juan D Mac as well.
Yeah, you can find me at Dialect 718 on Twitter and Instagram.
I don't know who's that. What is that one? Where's that from?
That's the alien guy, Ancient Aliens.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that is.
All right, y'all. Well, it's been fun and good conversation. This was good. This was a good one, man.
Yeah, great show, guys.
Let's hope for a better week in the world and in America, and let's hope for change, man. Let's keep these positive vibes going. I don't think we can ever go back to what it used to be with the way that things have gone, man. And I think that's a good thing. But it's up to us on the ground to make that work.
I don't know. Did Diva give out her socials?
Did she?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So give the audience what they want. Let them hear that sound one more time, please. Take us out with it.
Micah makes me sick, first of all. And second of all, it was I didn't know what to call it. So it's just the noise that the record makes. Blah, blah, blah. Now I know what to call it. Shut up,
Peace.
Mikey.
Peace, everybody.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's one way to sign out there, Architect. I just want to thank everyone, as always, for tuning in to the Hiphopcitizen Livestream show. Thank you. We'll see you next week. And no, more importantly, we'll see you Sunday.
All right.